then some reports that he's not eating. This could be maybe because the food isn't up to his standards, it's not what he likes, but also there are some potential reports that he's fearing someone may poison his food.
That's why he wanted to get out, so bad. But I think that they're gonna railroad Diddy. Do I think that there are maggots in the food? I mean, I won't trust anything when you of the stature of Diddy. Do I think they give every inmate maggot food? Probably not.
Eating maggots is unlikely to cause serious harm, though it could potentially lead to bacterial contamination if the food was already spoiled. So Diddy and your lawyers, get it right when you want to complain.
Word just dropped that Sean Diddy Combs is allegedly saying the food he's getting behind bars has maggots in it. That alone sounds like a nightmare served on a metal tray. But here's where it gets more complicated. Some people are suggesting this might be more than just terrible prison meals. Remember, Diddy's been in the spotlight since those high-profile raids, with lawsuits piling up and his business empire under pressure. Now, reports of tainted food are making the rounds. To most people, it's just another grim prison headline, but to others, it raises bigger questions. Commenters online are already drawing comparisons to past high-profile cases, speculating about possible foul play. Could this simply be a case of unsanitary kitchen conditions, or is someone trying to send a message? Either way, the situation has people watching closely.
You understand what I'm saying? So, can I believe that they were giving Brian Nichols and poison in his food and giving him maggots and stuff in the food and he was always sick and he wouldn't eat me, he went on a hunger strike? Mm-hmm. Of course I can, especially if I'm one of the deputies or something and you don't came in here and killed one of my family members and I got to feed your black ass. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get whatever I give you, player. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell them what's going to be up in the food. So I don't know who is serving Diddy. The people that are serving Diddy, are they, they love the women. They pro-women.
Let's be honest. The official story and what people are saying on the street feel like two different worlds. On paper, the Brooklyn facility chalks it up to an aging building and an underfunded kitchen. Just a few hygiene lapses we're supposed to shrug off with. That's jail for you. The public explanation makes it sound like Diddy is just another inmate complaining about bad food, like those same tired gray chicken patties that have been served for years. But outside the walls, people aren't convinced. Many think something more serious might be happening and aren't buying the oops, a maggot slipped in excuse. Some online chatter even draws parallels to past high-profile incidents, wondering whether there's a bigger play at work. Is it really just neglect in the kitchen, or something meant to send a message? Whatever the truth, the situation has sparked a lot of speculation about how much power and information Diddy might hold, and how that could ripple beyond his own case.
Those rumors you are hearing about maggots being in the food at MDC Brooklyn are all lies.
Think about it. Who benefits if everyone buys a dirty kitchen story? The system. It keeps Diddy looking like just another inmate complaining about bad food and lets the media frame it as a sanitation problem instead of digging deeper. But flip the perspective. Who gains if people think it's something more sinister? Diddy and anyone rooting for him. That angle turns him from a fallen mogul into a potential target, someone powerful enough to make others nervous. Sympathy and survival points, all in one. So we're left with two narratives on the same tray. One says it's just lousy prison meals. The other hints at a calculated move to keep him quiet. The truth is likely somewhere between stale bread and the rumors swirling beyond those walls.
The FDA has legal limits. The FDA allows some insects, including maggots, in certain foods, like drained mushroom. Eating maggots. While it's not ideal, accidentally eating maggots is unlikely to cause serious harm, though it could potentially lead to bacterial contamination if the food was already spoiled. So Diddy and your lawyers, get it right when you want to complain.
To see the bigger picture, you have to connect past moments to what's happening now. The reports of tainted food aren't an isolated incident. They're landing in the middle of a long, complicated story that's followed Diddy for decades. His name has carried rumors since the Bad Boy Records era of the 90s. Allegations of questionable contracts, wild parties, and behind-the-scenes drama. For years, people brushed it off as celebrity gossip. But now, with him facing lawsuits, past associates speaking out, and federal raids in the rearview, those old whispers are resurfacing. Some fans even recall the 2018 death of Kim Porter, officially ruled pneumonia, and how speculation about a tell-all memoir lingered afterward. Others draw parallels to Jeffrey Epstein's 2019 death in federal custody, a case that fueled public skepticism about high-profile prisoner safety. Taken together, these memories make today's headlines about maggots in the food feel less like a simple sanitation problem, and more like part of a pattern, at least to those inclined to believe there's more beneath the surface. Whether it's coincidence or something deeper, the repetition of nothing to see here explanations is what keeps people watching closely.
So what happened with Diddy? I think what happened with Diddy is Diddy had a bunch of very incriminating tapes. I think, Epstein light. And I think they arrested him to round it all up. All the data. I think they did it to get all the data away from Diddy because he was being sued in civil court. And the guilty party said, we got to get it out of there before the civil court gets it. And so they arrest Diddy. What'd they just convict him of? Nothing. They could have put him away for 20 years based on what he did to Justin Bieber.
Let's look at both angles, because that's where the real debate lives. On one side, some people believe Diddy knows too much and powerful figures might want to silence him before he ever speaks in court. It's a dramatic theory that definitely captures attention. But there's another view. Maybe this is simply the consequence of his own choices, or just the reality of prison life. Diddy's reputation in hip-hop has long included allegations of ruthless business deals and hard partying. And plenty of inmates deal with bad food and unsanitary conditions every day. They just don't have cameras or headlines following them. A third possibility? He could be leaning into the "they're trying to silence me" narrative himself, turning a rough situation into a comeback story that casts him as a survivor rather than a fallen mogul. Whichever angle you take, he's sitting at a volatile crossroads of reputation, rumor, and reality, and that's a dangerous place to be.
They're not getting any Michelin-starred or gourmet food in prison. So you got to think, on a practical standpoint, a realistic standpoint, Diddy's probably used to really good food and the best food that money could buy. Of course, he had the resources for that. So it could be that the food is just so reprehensible to him, and he's not, he doesn't have a taste for it, that he's not eating because of that. Or it could be a genuine fear that he has that someone may be out to get him, and then he doesn't want to take that risk.
So here we are. The food might be the headline, but the biggest story is what it means for Diddy's legacy. Once a chart-topping mogul who partied with presidents and called himself Brother Love, he's now in a Brooklyn cell arguing over spoiled meals instead of polishing Grammys. That's a fall from grace narrative the public sees, a superstar brought down to ordinary inmate status. But some observers see a different twist. If someone as powerful as Diddy can be reduced to this, it signals how fragile influence can be. That idea flips him from untouchable mogul to possible cautionary tale. Best case scenario, he weathers the ordeal, reclaims a narrative, and later shares his side in interviews or memoir. Worst case, prison neglect or persistent rumors overshadow his accomplishments, leaving questions about what might have been. Either way, a man who once set the beat for others is now facing a rhythm he can't control, with his future and his legacy on the line.